today I'll be showing you how to create a nice cinematic title in Cinema 4D. Okay, so let's get started. Open up Cinema 4D, and then we're going to the MoGraph tag here, and we're going to select Mo Text, and that's an easy way to get some 3D text. Align it in the middle. I'm gonna make my text as let's say tutorial. Okay. Get a bevel depth, I mean. Okay, like 50 depth. Okay. Then we're going to change the font to something that we like, so I'm just find some cool font. Actually, this font is pretty simple and nice as well, so well, I'll take this one. Okay. Then we're going to caps, and I'm going to add a fillet caps from, like, let's say 3 radius, and the same for the backside. Then we're going to constrain so that it's in the text, or maybe not. It looks better without. So I'm gonna keep it this way. You can change it to the triangles or n-gons, but I just already keep it at triangles because it's a little bit better for me. And also at the object I use a uniform. Okay. So that's just for some fonts that it kind of helps, because I've seen some problems with the others that like this hole is not there and stuff like that. So I'm just preview it if everything looks pretty good. As you can see over here, there's a little hole in the text, so maybe natural will work better. Okay, so now I fixed this problem. We're going to add a new camera and activate the camera by clicking on this black square. Then over here you can see the position and the rotation from the camera, so we're going to zero out both of the rotations over here and also the X, and there we go. Now we have a perfect centered camera, maybe a little bit higher. Let's make it like 50Y and negative 1500. Okay, there we go. So now we have something like this. Now we're going to the project settings by clicking on here, going to the output, and now just select your resolution you wanna render your project with. So I'm going to render it in Full HD. So I'm going to use a 1080p. Okay, there we go. Frame range, all frames, and save it somewhere that you want to save it. So I'm going to Cinema 4D, create a new folder, Cinema 4D tutorial. Okay, and there in this folder I will save this project as Cinema 4D tutorial. Okay, there we go. Save it. Alpha channel, check this on. Format, QuickTime movie, and we don't need this. So go to anti-aliasing. I'm sorry, I don't really know how to spell this correctly. I guess I'm pretty sure it's anti-aliasing, but if not, please try to correct me. And yeah, so we both learned something this day. So go to the anti-aliasing and change the minimal level to 2x2, and then we have all our settings done. So close this up again. And now what we're going to do is click on the Mo Text, go to MoGraph, go to Effector, and use a plain effector on this Mo Text. As you can see, the text will jump up, let's say to 100 in the Y. So we want to zero this out. We don't need to change the position. So the only thing we need to change actually is the rotation. So we're going to check on rotation, and now you can just tweak these things. And as you can see, your text is going to rotate. So over time you can do some cool stuff with this. I'm going to use a 90 degrees and 45 degrees. Okay, there we go. Now at the fall-off, you can see over here, just by doing this, if you animate this, it will just get it to the original text. So that's what you want to use later on. So first of all, we want to click on the plane and go to MoGraph again, Effector, and add a random effector. So here we can go to the effector itself, no, the parameters, and check off the position and check on the rotation, and get some random rotation for this plane. So go to MoGraph, Mo Text, go to Effectors somewhere over here. Okay, letters, and insert this random. Okay, so now we can just tweak this up. random it just a bit, not too much. Let's say 25, 25, and maybe a little bit less over here, so maybe 75 and 35. Okay, so now what we want to do is animate this camera. So we are going to the first frame of our composition and click on this keyframe, move 30 frames, and click on the keyframe again. Then move back. Well, we could just do this before, but I forgot. So just make sure your camera is going through, all the way through your text. So click on the camera coordinations over here. Okay, so if you move up the Z, you can see your camera is moving forward. So just make sure you just go enough forward until you don't see the text anymore, and then hold Ctrl and press on this yellow button here, and it will turn up red, and that means that it's adding a keyframe to the position on the timeline. So as you can see now, we have this smooth animation. If you want to smooth it out a little bit more, go to Window Timeline, and over here you just open up the camera, click on Position or something like that, and then just activate the curve mode and go to Position, click on Position. As you can see over here, by scrolling out and holding Alt and right clicking, just moving your right clicking and dragging it up, you can see over here we have our curve. So what we're going to do with the curve is click on this keyframe and just drag this up so it's a little bit smoother. So as you can see over here, the curve is smoothing out a bit, and as you can see in the animation, it's going to from fast to slow, so it's pretty cool. So now what we want to do is animate this plane Effector to 0. So go back to the first frame of our composition, click on Fall Off, hold Ctrl and press on the weight over here, and as you can see it turns up red. Go back to the not 30 frames but 40 frames this time, and change it to 0 so you still have some animation when the camera stops. And as you can see now, if we replay this, we have a pretty cool effect over here, but the random effector is still there, so we also have to animate the random effector and the weight. So just do the same thing, go to 40 frames and get this to 0. Okay, there we go. And as we can see now, it's pretty cool. Maybe also smooth this out and on the timeline, so go back to timeline and then just click on the random and just zoom in a bit, click on the keyframe, zooming in by holding Alt and right mouse, the right mouse, not the left mouse, and just drag up or down, and then you will see it's moving over here. So just drag this to smooth it out all the way like this, and then just do the same thing for the plane, so something like that. Okay, this should look pretty cool. So as you can see, there's just a little bit of smooth animation at the end of our last frames. Maybe even turn it at 50 frames instead. So just hold and click this frame and just move it up to the 50 frames. So as you can see, it's pretty cool. Now what we want to do is add some lights and make our scene look pretty cool. So first of all, I'm going to caps again and just create 2 steps instead of 1. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to create a new material, and you can do this by double clicking here, and it will create automatically a new material. By double clicking on there, you can tweak the settings for your material and personalize it to your needs. So I'm going to keep a white color. I'm going to add a specular, a little bit high, a bit thin, just like this. Okay. There we go. Add a reflection. And add Fresnel to your reflections. So just by clicking on the arrow over here, and you will see Fresnel. And then just also get this down to like 10%. Okay. So now we have our material. If you want to, you can add a texture by loading an image and clicking on your textures. So over here I have a cool texture. Clicking open, no, and then just copy this channel and paste it at your bump to bump it out a bit. Okay, so I'm going to drag this up on our tutorial text right over here, And if I render this out, this is what we have for the moment. If you don't like the way it is right now and you want your texture to be on the front of your text as well, just click on the material over here, and the projection should be cubic. And then if you do it again, you can see your texture is at your text in the front. But over here you can see that the texture is repeating, so just click on seamless and that will fix the problem. So now it's just mixing up a little bit together, and this looks pretty cool. So now all we need is some light. We're gonna add one light over here. Check off the camera so you can just go through your whole animation stage, and then just drag it up just like this, maybe a little bit down, and just change these shadows to soft. Okay, we are going to use a warm color, maybe orangish, something like this. And then the background, we're going to use a blue color, but it's a little bit too orange, so something like that. Okay, so this looks pretty cool. Hold Ctrl and press C on the keyboard, then press V on the keyboard, and that will duplicate your light, and just move the other light to the back of your text and move it up, and just like this. Okay, and now what you want to do is move it, make the color blue, bluish color, and then click OK. Now if you click back on the camera and you render this out, you can see it's pretty cool already by just adding some cool lights over there. So as you can see, it's still a bit dark, so what you can do as well is add a fill light, and then just change the type to ambient or infinite, sorry, it's infinite, and then just move it to like 40%. Okay, there we go. So now all we need is some reflections on there. What you can do is just create a new material and load a cool image. So just load an image of some reflections. So doesn't matter really what. I'm gonna use this forest, and click no again, and check off the specular. Okay, I'm gonna close this up, create a new sky, and then just drag this material on the sky and right click, Cinema 4D tags, composition, and check off the camera over here. So now we have some simple reflections, and that makes our text alive a bit. So if we see this animation over here, it's looking pretty cool. Maybe bump it up more, bump it up a bit more. So let's say 50%. Okay, so it's looking pretty cool, and if you're if you're happy with what you've created, we can render this out. So just render text and then just go into After Effects. Okay, so once you've rendered out your intro, you can open up After Effects, and there we're going to Project, and we're going to right click over here, click Import File, and import your file that you have saved. Okay, so straight unmatted, make sure that's straight unmatted. Hit OK, and then it will be imported without the background. So just hold and drag this onto the new composition over here, and then it will automatically disappear over here. So as you can see, there's a transparent background. It may be that you see a black background, but no problem. That might be the composition background. So that's not officially. So you can just right click and add a new solid, and then just move it back over here, and then you'll change. You will see the change in your colors. If you're not, then you should have done something wrong in your Cinema 4D output. So make sure you have alpha checked on. So okay, so we're gonna create a background, BG. Okay, and I'm BG from G, not J, just to make sure. Okay, so hit OK. Right click. No, right click. Just click on the background. Go to Effects, Generate, and generate a ramp. And then we're going to make this a nice dark blue color, and this a nice black or really dark blue color, but I'm gonna keep it black. Then radial ramp, and scatter it maybe 20 to make sure it's a little smoothie. It's a little bit smoother than it should be. Okay, I'm sorry for the confusion, but I just got out of the shower while it was rendering, and I'm not into this tutorial anymore, so you'll have to come back to it and finish this tutorial. So okay, just over here you see two red dots, and you can just drag this to animate the ramp. So we're going to drag this over here. That you see this nice transition of the blue to the black, and then if you scroll in your timeline, you scrub to the timeline over here. Now, as you can see, the tutorial it needs a little bit more contrast and stuff like that. So we're going to add a curves. So go to Effect, Color Correction, Curves, and over here we can just animate this a little bit until we have something that we really like. So maybe a little bit less reds, but more in the shadows, something like that, and then a little bit more greenish blue. Okay, there we go. So this is pretty cool. What you can do as well is add a new solid again and rename it to particles, and add some particles in the background. That's always some fun. It gives some life to your background. So just add a simple CC particle world. I'm sorry. And then we're going to check off the grid over here. So just drop this down, check off the grid, and then go to producer and produce it at the radius X and Y and Z. Okay, there we go. Maybe along Z distance. So we have some 3D depth there, and then we're going to animate the physics over here, and we are going to check off the gravity, or maybe we're going to get it a nice gravity of minus negative 0. Let's say 5. We're gonna try this out, or 1. Let's start with 1. Okay, so then just drag this bar to the left so they start animating from the beginning, because else it will start giving birth at the first frame. As you can see, if we redo this, as you can see, there are no particles over here, and they just come up here. So just drag it a bit until you have the complete screen filled with some particles. Then we're going to the particle itself, and we're going to change it to faded sphere instead of the lines, something like that, and we're going to make them a lot smaller. So let's say 0.1. Okay, there we go. And change the color to a nice blue color, or whatever color you want actually. So I really do like blue, and you might know that from my other tutorials. So yeah, then we're going to add some motion blur to them. Just toggle the switches over here if you don't see this option, and then click over here and also enable the motion blur for the whole comp. So if you pre-render this, we can see if we like it or not, and if we do, then we're good, I guess. Particles are way too fast, in my opinion. So we're going to change this, and the gravity changed back to the 5, so make it smaller. Okay, there we go, 0.1. And this will be a lot better, and also get them in the background. Or you can just enable 3D over here and add a new camera. You could also export the settings from Cinema 4D, but I prefer it this way because it's, well, I don't, but it's easier now for the particles. If you have a more difficult project, you might want to export the settings over there to import in After Effects, so you have the lights and all the good stuff and the same camera from Cinema 4D, but that's not for this tutorial. So just get it in the depth as well, and then just make it again to the screen over here, and so it fits. There we go. Okay, so what we have now is the particles slowly going in the background, so we have some simple environment there, and it's pretty cool. Maybe you want to add a flare when it hits over here, so when it comes all together, like over here, we want some flare coming out of over here. So some people might not have optical flares from Video Copilot, so I'm gonna make a flare myself so everyone can follow, so that might be easier for you guys. So create a new solid and call it flare, and then we're going to effect over here, effect generate flare. Where is it? It's really a long time that I use lens flares actually, because Video Copilot optical flares is such a powerful plugin, so I really do like Video Copilot optical flares, so I really recommend buying it. Not that he's paying me to advertise it, but yeah, it's just my opinion. Okay, there we go. And then just make it smaller over here. Okay, and now toggle the switches again and mode add. There we go. And then just drag this to the bottom over here. And then just make it thinner. To make it thinner on both sides instead of just one side, well, it's doing it automatically over here. So if it doesn't, just hold Alt and it should work as well. Just position it over here and go to Effects, Hue and Saturation, so color correction, Hue and Saturation. Check the colorize box and maybe change the saturation to 70% and this to 250 or maybe less. It's a little bit purple, I don't like purple. Okay, there we go. And now we have some simple flare there. So what we can do as well is add some glow to the flare over here with a bigger radius. And there we go. So if you can see it without and with, it gives a little bit more life to the scene. And then also create a new adjustment layer. You might just add glow for the whole comp over here. There we go. Maybe 40% over here threshold, and this to 100. Okay, oh, that's not 1000, 100. Okay, so now we want to animate this flare to from scale or just from create a new keyframe over here and go back in time 10 frames just by holding Shift and pressing page down, page up on the keyboard. It will go back in the timeline. Then click on the stopwatch and then move back 10 frames by holding page down this time, and then just create a new keyframe again. Then go to the previous keyframe and then just animate it a lot smaller. There we go. And then click on this keyframe, right click, keyframe assistance, ease, or press F9 on the keyboard. So let's see what we have in this animation for now. So maybe it's already something pretty cool. As you can see, the glow effect really does something with the scene. I really love adding glow effects on motion graphics if it's up and subtle. Okay, so this looks pretty cool. Now we also have to get the opacity to 0 over time. So click on the flare over here, create a new keyframe for the for opacity by pressing T on the keyboard. You reveal the opacity over here, then hold Shift and press page down a few times, and then get it to 0%. Okay, so let's see what we have. Looks pretty cool. So it's a really nice motion graphic piece. Especially if you're a beginner, you can just mess around with the settings. This is just some techniques that I've showed you to get some nice text over here animations. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.